Hello everyone. Sorry here. Thank you so much for joining for the finale of the series of Kendra Card Challenge number 9. I have already posted these cards earlier because I needed to get them out. This has definitely taken me much longer than anticipated, just the way life goes sometimes. But here is the actual video if you're interested in how the cards were made. So this is card number 11, and I'm going to follow the sketch fairly closely. I really love this teal color that comes in this card kit, and as I said in the previous two videos, this is from a May 2022 card kit from Pink and Main, and it focuses mainly on these faux alcohol ink pattern papers. The card kit does come with amazing pattern papers and the coordinated cardstocks. And so pretty much throughout this video, I'm going to be finding inks that match as close as possible and try to bring in those elements to tie it all together. And I believe in most cases it's going to be Catherine Pooler inks. So right now I'm just adding some black. I have so many black pieces of paper, just scraps, that I decided in this case, and I've done it many times before, it's just using the strips and just do it myself instead of cutting an actual piece of black paper that is the perfect size. All you need to do is just kind of lightly put the strips on in the back and then move them a bit so that you get the nice width between. Of course, mine are definitely not perfect. I think they're a little bit fatter on the bottom and wider or skinnier on the top, but that's okay. It is absolutely fine. Off camera, I did heat or ink all of these flowers and also the bluish flowers on the circle with saying sending love. And I just wanted to have a little bit of depth to it so that I'm going to kind of cover the flowers with these two die cuts. I did cut them out myself, just fussy cutting them. And just so that when you're layering it, you kind of have all these layers coming in. And then to tie in some more of that blue, I've created two butterflies, all of these coming from the stamp set in the card kit. And then I took a Posco white pen, and I believe it's a Cobic fine liner, and just filled in the spots to kind of make it look like it has patterns on it. And then I decided to use some of these little epoxy dots that came in the card kit. I felt they matched quite nicely, and I just put 3 of them just on the card here. And that's that for card number 11. For card number 12, I'm going to focus on the purples this time. And I'm not going to show you the whole process of creating this background, but pretty much I'm just stamping it, moving it around, and creating a silhouette background. I really like this flower, and so I'm going to make it a big focal point starting from the bottom all the way to the top. And then do it again near the bottom. You can see just above I've stamped it again, and then a little butterfly. And that's going to create a nice little scene there. For the background, just purple that comes in the card kit, and then I also have this white. The embossing folder also comes in this kit, and I've done that for many of the white pieces just to give it a little bit of difference. I find for myself, if it's just a big stark piece of white plain cardstock, it stands out too much. And in some cases it works quite well, but many times for me it doesn't. So I like to use embossing folders or a stencil, and you do a dry emboss type approach. I think that's the term. And then you just create a little bit of texture just so that it kind of breaks it up a bit. All those shadows that are created and whatnot. And then for this piece, I am going to do the same thing I did with the black, but I'm using gold and to tie in with that matte layer between the white and the purple. I have a lot of gold scraps too, so you may notice that I did kind of waste that whole gold matte. That's just because I have so much that I'm not worried about saving it. If this is if you do own very little of a fancy paper or specialty paper, I would highly recommend cutting out the centers, just because then you can use them for something else. Don't waste those good valuable papers. But if you have lots, then it's just easier not having to find scraps to fill in holes. This die cut, thinking of you, I cut it out of the same purple. not from the one from this piece of paper, but I had cut it out from another one, from a different card, I believe. And then I also cut it in black to create that nice little shadow just on the edge of the purple. And then it also has the white bubble or shadow background dye. And then I'm just going to put it all together, just making sure that the sentiment kind of lines center with that piece that's going horizontal, and adding some of the bling that comes from the card kit. There is so much that comes in this card kit. These Pink and Main card kits are amazing. I definitely would check them out if you are interested. It is a monthly card kit. So here we go. Here's an example of cutting out the center. I didn't use the center in this card, but I did in a different card, and it's just because I know I'm going to be covering the whole thing, so let's save this cardstock. For this, the white panel here with the flowers, that is a stencil that comes in the card kit as well, and I've inked it with some gray and pink inks from Pink and Main. It doesn't matter which company it is. All you need is a gray and a pink, and then you do the whole thing gray very lightly, and then you can focus a little bit darker in the center if you want. And then the reason you do it lightly is because on the outside of each flower, you're going to take your pink and go over it. The brighter the pink, I love it. I just love that bright pink with the gray, and it just creates a really fun background. And I also did that on the sentiment panel, and you see it on the corner there, but I'll bring it in. I did use two different cardstocks. I was trying to start using up the scraps that I have. The reason I used that limeish green or chartreuse is because the little banner that is part of the sketch was green. The other side, I believe, is either white or orange. So it just didn't look right. So I wanted to bring in some of that green and not make it stand out too much. Sorry, just brain fart. Anyways, I was just thinking for a second. So I'm just going to glue this down. I did put a piece of scrap paper just to kind of lift up that panel so it's not sagging, and then I add my banner there. I didn't add the dots that are in the sketch as is. I just kind of spread them out around the card. And I did use these from some scrap pink cardstock that came in this kit as well, using my hole punch, which you can see peeking just on the left there. I sometimes forget to take things out of the camera view. And then I'll just use my Simon Says Crafty Tacky glue and glue those down. And there we go. On to card number, 14 and 15. These are identical cards but reversed. So I'm only going to show you one, and then I'll show the second one just side by side, just so you can see, because you don't need to see me create the exact same card twice. What it is the pattern paper is cut on an angle, and then because it's done right down the center, or it's equally separated, that you just flip it, and then you can just swap the sketch, if that makes sense. You'll see when we get to the next one. However, I don't always follow the sketch if I find it's more fun to do something differently. In this case, I like this sketch, or this design, this layout that I'm doing, so I'm not going to flip the design. And once again, you'll see what I mean when we see the sketch in card 15. So I'm going to keep the sketch identical, and I'm going to use the exact same color, which is that bluish green alcohol pattern. I really like that color. But the difference is I'm going to match my stamps to the matte layer that's in the background. And once again, you see that the center is missing because I love this color. I don't know what it is. It's not doing justice on my video camera because it kind of looks like a slime green, but it's a really pretty green. And yeah, so I cut the center out, and I think I used it in the previous card, to be honest. If I remember correctly, that was like a minute ago. I don't remember what I did then. But anyways, it's been a long week. So for the sentiment, I'm using the same die cut, and I'm using Thinking of You, cut out of the gold cardstock. This is the same shimmery gold cardstock that I used in previous cards, and it's just Recollection cardstock. I definitely like this. It comes in a bundle of 50 sheets, and it's reasonably priced. It does really well. It's nice and shimmery. Check it out if you like it. And I'm happy with it. I've also hole punched in the same cardstock, that gold shimmer, and I'm just putting them all around the card, mainly focusing around the floral arrangement there with the two green in the background and the black one on the top. I also realized that I hadn't actually glued this down to my base. I usually do that before I get it all decorated. I was about to show the card and realized that it wasn't actually glued down, so let's do that. And there we go, card number 14, and here's card number 15. So you can see that it's supposed to be flipped, but I didn't. I decided to keep them both on the bottom and just change the matte layer of the cards. So that's it. I do hope that you enjoyed the finale of my 15 cards created with Kendra Card Challenge number 9. I will not be waiting this long for card number 10. I'm pretty sure it's not going to be as busy of a year in the next 3 months, but who knows? You never know. You just keep stepping one day ahead. And so anyways, thank you so much for joining me. I do hope you enjoyed the whole series. And if you haven't, definitely check them out. There's 2 other videos, the showing of my cards. And I just do that so that it was a smaller watch time. So until the next time, have a wonderful, beautiful, fantastic weekend and week. And I will catch you later. Bye.